Chris's computer. TJ will be with you in a moment. Chris figured that if a computer could pick who is going to the BCS championship, then I could do the introduction for the college football report. I just wanted to say that I'm not cool with all the Facebook and Twitter trash talk that is going on. Computers were meant for good things like watching awesome college football preview videos and creatively procrastinating, not tearing other people down. Be kind to one another. Football is only a game. Also, my pretender is the Mac. No one in the conference is ranked. Come on guys, you are ruining my good name. Okay, let's send it to TJ for the rest of the report.
What's up, college football fans? Want to wish you a happy December. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you've enjoyed the regular season up to this point. We've gotten down to championship week, and so we're going to be looking at some of the conference championships and the kind of impact they can have on the national championship landscape. But before we get into all of that, every week we do contender and pretender. So let's look at this week's contender and pretender. They're both coming out of the SEC. This week's contender is quarterback Connor Shaw for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Connor Shaw really had his coming out party against Clemson this week. South Carolina putting up a big win against its rival, and Connor Shaw having a heck of a day. 14 for 20 passing, 210 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, just playing good, mistake-free quarterback play. And his rushing was what really made the difference. 19 attempts for 107 yards and a rushing touchdown. Connor Shaw getting it done with his arm, getting it done with his legs, and really living up to that beast mode t-shirt that he was wearing at the end of the game. Great game, Connor Shaw. This week's pretender is Coach Bobby Petrino, head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. At the end of the Arkansas-LSU game, Les Miles, head coach from LSU, decided to kick a field goal. He was up by, I can't remember the score, but the game was decided at this point. It was in the fourth quarter, and he decides to kick a field goal. Okay. Makes the field goal. Not really changing the score a whole lot. It was the right call to make in the situation. There was just kneeling it again wouldn't gain a lot for either team. And Petrino responded by pointing across the field to Coach Miles and saying some words. Now, this is a vlog done by a Christian youth ministry, so I'm not going to repeat what the words were. I'm not even going to hint at what the words were. But regardless, they were not things that you should say to anyone ever. And then after the game, Petrino, in continuing classy mode, just kind of slaps Les Miles' hand instead of shaking it and walks away, probably muttering some of the same words under his breath. Coach Petrino, I understand you're upset that your team has lost maybe one of the biggest games in its history. I can understand that. But really, what did you want Coach Miles to do? There wasn't really he could have launched a bomb into the end zone. And the way that game was going, he probably would have pulled in a touchdown on that play. So really, it was about the best decision he could make. And who are you, sir, to be calling people out for running up the score? No one runs up the score in the SEC like Bobby Petrino in Arkansas. You guys have it in the shotgun in the fourth quarter up by 30. You're in a glass house on that one, Coach Petrino, and I'm calling you out for it. Let's get into the championship games this week. Let's first look at the Pac-12 championship. And I want to start with this one because it's the quickest one to talk about. It'll be Oregon versus UCLA. It's the first Pac-12 championship game, in fact. This game's not hard to understand. UCLA is there because USC can't be. And UCLA is not a good football team. They should not be in this championship game. They just lost 15-0 to USC. Again, who cannot be in the game because of recruiting violations done under Pete Carroll's watch. This game is going to be a waste of your time. Oregon and their offense are going to put 50 or 60 points on the board. UCLA will probably not score. They've just lost their head coach. He's just been fired. I don't even think he'll be coaching this game. This game is calling this game as a formality is doing it a favor. And let's move on and go to the Big Ten championship. This is the first Big Ten championship this year. And I got to say, the Big Ten's starting off really well with this one. This one is going to be a good game. You got Wisconsin and Michigan State. Now, I can't remember which one is a leader and which one is a legend. And honestly, they need to come up with a better name for those divisions. But nonetheless, just a really great matchup. A rematch, in fact, of a game which came down to a Hail Mary pass for Michigan State to win. And I'm guaranteeing you, Coach Bielema has not let Wisconsin forget that. And that's why I kind of like Wisconsin this game. I like them coming out playing angry about that Hail Mary touchdown that Kirk Cousins dropped on them in the first matchup. I like Monty Ball doing what he does best, which is running for touchdowns. I like Russell Wilson playing some mistake-free touchdown passing ball. And I like Wisconsin winning the first Big Ten championship game. Probably going to be a close game. You can never underestimate what Coach Mark D'Antonio can do with those Spartans. But I like the Badgers in this one. Now, to the one with probably the most national championship impact, the SEC championship, LSU versus Georgia. Now, quite frankly, I'm not sure the best team in the SEC East is being represented in this game. I understand that I have some biases going into that statement, and so I'll leave it right there. Nonetheless, Georgia's a good ball team. LSU is the best in the country. And not only are they the best in the country, it's very obvious that they're the best in the country. Just in the way they tore through Arkansas in the last 3 quarters of that game. And Arkansas, just a very good football team. They looked invincible, and they still look invincible. That said, Georgia has the potential to make some noise in this game, and I think they will. I think Aaron Murray is maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, and I think he has I think he has the kind of game that can give LSU a little bit of trouble. It comes down to really how much Georgia's defense can do. And stopping LSU's offense has just been... It's really difficult to know what's coming because is it going to be the running attack? Is it going to be the passing attack? Are they going to get you on special teams? It's very difficult to plan for what LSU does to score points. And that's really... I can't even call it offense. It's just they just score points. And so I'd like LSU to win this one. I don't think it's going to be the blowout that some experts think it is, but I do think that LSU will once again convince everyone that they are the best team in the country. Now let's move on from this and talk about hometown heroes. Now first let's do a little recap of the Carolina-Clemson game. If you've been living under a rock in the state of South Carolina, then let me just tell you, the South Carolina Gamecocks won 34-13 in Columbia. Very solid win for the Gamecocks. Now, if you remember in last week's show, I went over 3 statistics for each team that if Carolina or Clemson were able to accomplish these statistics, I said they would win. South Carolina won all 3 stats that I said they needed to win. Clemson won none of the stats that I said they needed to win, and well, you see the results. Clemson is not without hope. They still have a lot to play for, though. They will have a bowl game at the end of this. And depending on how their next game goes, that bowl game could be a very lucrative opportunity. Clemson will be playing the Virginia Tech Hokies in the ACC Championship. Now, Clemson, to be ready for this game, needs to get motivated. And Coach Dabo Swinney is an excellent motivator. And I guess I can kind of appreciate where he's trying to gain his motivation from. I really can. I really can. In the last day, there's been a controversy come up about something that Dabo Swinney attributed to Coach Steve Spurrier of South Carolina. Swinney's understanding was that Coach Spurrier had made a statement after their game that said, and I quote, "We ain't Bama and we ain't LSU, but we sure ain't Clemson either." And Swinney went on kind of a diatribe about how, yes, South Carolina isn't Clemson. He mentioned Clemson's conference championships in the ACC. He mentioned the national championship from over 30 years ago. And by the way, if you don't know anything about that championship, and I'm sorry, I have to drop the truth bomb on this one, that championship has more asterisks on it than Barry Bonds' career. Just about every illegal recruiting method possible committed that year. So not sure that's the one I'd be trotting out, but nonetheless, a national championship in some way, which Carolina cannot claim. I don't blame him for trotting these things out. If I had heard that kind of statement made, I would probably say the same thing. There's two problems. First of all, Swinney's responding to something that Steve Spurrier never said. All right, let's repeat that. Swinney's responding to something that Spurrier never said. Now, Spurrier's known to have said a lot of times this year, we ain't Bama and we ain't LSU. And that's just kind of Spurrier's style. Spurrier, he kind of sandbags his team. Kind of pokes at him a little bit. And indeed, South Carolina isn't Bama and LSU yet. But he never mentioned anything about Clemson. That was a little bit of an addition on Coach Swinney's part. So first of all, his facts aren't completely straight. All right. Second of all, he is focusing backwards when he has a very good Hokies team coming at him in this championship game. And this Hokies team is mad about what happened in their first meeting this season. The Hokies really got shut down by Clemson in Blacksburg. And I guarantee you Coach Frank Beamer hasn't forgotten that, and he hasn't let his players forget that. They've probably been focused on this game for a while. And it seems like Coach Swinney's focus is not forward at the Hokies, but backwards at South Carolina. And I've always said where your coach's focus is, that's exactly where your player's focus is going to be. And so while I had originally kind of predicted this one to be a close game and come down to the last minute, I have to predict the Hokies will win this game just based on the focus of the teams and the direction of these teams' season. Hear me as a Gamecock fan when I say that I would really like Clemson to win the ACC. I think in a selfish way, it only makes us look better, honestly. And I don't think it's necessarily mutually exclusive for either teams to have success. But just given the focus of the head coach, I don't really know any other way to predict the outcome of this game. Now I want to look at another hometown hero who is also still playing right now, and that is the Wofford Terriers, who have made it into the FCS playoffs. And they'll have an interesting matchup. They'll be playing the University of Northern Iowa in Des Moines. Wofford is a triple option team. They want to hold on to the ball. They want to move the ball slowly. They want to trick you up with a very hard to plan for defense. Hard to plan for offense. And they want to play good defense. It's a pretty simple strategy. It's what Navy does. It's what Georgia Tech does. Northern Iowa, pretty good defense. Not as much of an offense. They're all about stopping the other team and just scoring enough points to get by them. I feel like Northern Iowa would have an advantage if they could get this one out in the cold of Northern Iowa, but unfortunately this game is played in a dome. And that's why I have to go with the Terriers here. I like the Terriers' offense. I like how they move the ball and they hold on to the ball for the majority of the game against most of their opponents. I like them putting in a good effort on the road and getting past the Northern Iowa Panthers in the first round of the playoffs. Well, that's all I had. It's been a long show, but I've enjoyed it. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're enjoying your holidays so far, getting your Christmas shopping done, and yeah, we'll see you next week. We got some big shows coming up. We're going to talk about the bowls pretty soon. We're going to talk about the national championship picture. So stay tuned. There's still a lot of college football to be played. Peace.